Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Team Call. My name is Susie Bailey, if you have not met me yet, and I am really excited to be here tonight just to share with you some additional benefits and uses of some of our most favorite Plexus supplements, and some of these things that you might already be familiar with, some of them might be new to you, or maybe some of these tips will actually remind you of someone that you know that you think could benefit from some of these tips. So I just want to say from the beginning that throughout tonight, and then even after this call, please feel free to share in the comments below if I maybe happen to miss something, or if you happen to know of a particular use of a supplement or something that's worked really well for you, or a creative way that you have used something that you would like to share that you think could also add value to somebody else. And so you can either share it here in the comments, and then I'll go through after the call and I can always type those out into one main comment, or you can even just share them in the comments of the recording once I post it, okay? But I'm just gonna jump right in because I've got quite a bit that I'd like to cover with you tonight. And the first thing I'm gonna do is to start with one of my very favorite supplements, and that is Plexus ProBio 5. You probably already know this is a major powerhouse of a supplement. The digestive and the gut health benefits of this particular supplement are absolutely amazing, as you already know. But maybe, just maybe, you have not considered using it in one of the following ways. The most common and recommended time of day to take ProBio 5 is at bedtime. But did you know that you can also take it during the daytime if you're ever experiencing something like some breakthrough bloating, maybe some stomach upset because something just hasn't agreed with you, maybe you're getting some nausea that's setting in, or even some heartburn. And you can really think of it as a replacement for something like a Tums or a Pepto-Bismol type of medication. In fact, I want to tell you that I don't even keep either of those kinds of medications in my house anymore, because the digestive enzymes that the ProBio 5 contains can actually have just a very calming effect on the stomach. And so it's not uncommon that if one of my family members or I take an extra ProBio 5 during the day for one of those types of symptoms, that generally within 20 to 30 minutes, we are often feeling significantly better. So that is something that you could try if you have not already. Next, I just wanted to touch on the value of even considering taking a higher dosage of ProBio 5, whether this is something that you do continuously or more intermittently. But as you probably know, the most common maintenance dosage for ProBio 5 is 2 capsules per day at bedtime. But there are definitely times where you could really benefit from taking a higher dosage. And so I'm going to touch on a few of those. First of all, if you ever feel yourself coming down with something, like you're getting a virus or just any type of sickness that's setting in, our gut is responsible for over 70% of our overall immunity. So it really makes a whole lot of sense that we would benefit from extra gut health support during a time when our immune system is under attack. So if you know that you're starting to fight something off, start increasing that ProBio 5 immediately. If something is already set in, it's not too late. Start taking that higher dose immediately as well, because oftentimes it'll help you fight something off that much more quickly as well. So personally speaking, there have been times where if I catch something really early on, and I increase my ProBio 5 to about 4 capsules, as well as sometimes I do take an extra X Factor Plus, and I'll even start taking Immune Plus if I do happen to have it on hand. But a lot of times it will stop it in its tracks from forming. But regardless, I definitely notice that I fight things off that much more quickly if I'm just giving my body the extra support, okay? Next, it can also be really beneficial to take extra ProBio 5 during times of higher stress, such as maybe when your gut and your immune system are at a greater disadvantage. So I'm thinking of times like when you might be traveling, maybe you're eating foods that you're just generally not accustomed to. They might not typically be part of your diet. I especially want to encourage you to take it along and take a higher dose when you might be in a country where the food and water supply are not as reliable. Just a quick example from my brother's family. So his wife is Panamanian, so they're quite often traveling to Panama. And in years past, his wife especially would always struggle significantly with digestive issues when she was traveling. Without doubt, she'd come home with something, or she was kind of sick while she was there. And so she started doing a little bit of an experiment and taking ProBio 5 and even just the maintenance dose for her has made a world of difference. And since she started doing that, she has not once been sick on any one of their trips. So it is highly effective. Can't promise it will take care of everything, but your odds are certainly going to work in your favor when you're giving your gut that extra support. Okay. Another helpful time to take a higher dose of ProBio 5 would be during the holiday season, such as when you might be enjoying more sugary treats or more processed foods. It's really important to just be proactive about staying on top of Candida overgrowth. And Candida loves to overgrow the most when it's in the presence of sugary and processed foods. So it's just a great way to be a little bit more proactive and preventative in nature. Okay. And then finally, it's also super beneficial to take extra ProBio 5 when you find yourself taking medications of any kind, whether it's over the counter or prescription, especially antibiotics, in order to really preserve that proper balance of the good bacteria in your gut microbiome. And if we talk about, even just the word antibiotic, well, anti means against. Biotic essentially means something living, or so it essentially means it's against life. So what that means is your antibiotic, as necessary as they can be at times, sometimes we just can't avoid using them, right? There are times where they're very necessary, but essentially, an antibiotic is going to kill off every kind of bacteria in your gut, good and bad. And so that's why it's so important that we want to feed and replenish all of those good guys, the good bacteria, so that they can really come back first and outrun the chance of the bad bacteria overgrowing, or again, Candida overgrowth setting in. So that is why it's so important that we have those probiotics, which mean pro-life, okay, really nourishing our gut microbiome when the gut has been under attack, essentially. So don't get me wrong, there is definitely a time and a place for antibiotics. Sometimes we just cannot avoid it, but they are often overprescribed. And so many people are suffering from so many negative compounding effects from just past and current use of antibiotics. So to really have a great tool like ProBio 5 on hand, even adding in the vital biome just to give even more diversity to your microbiome is just going to help your gut recover that much more quickly. Okay? All right, let me go ahead and make sure I'm on track here. Just wanted to quickly say, if you have never tried an increase of ProBio 5 yet, maybe some of these situations don't necessarily apply to you. However, there is still value in giving your body the chance to experience what a higher ProBio 5 dosage can do for you, because for some people, you are just going to plain feel better with having that extra gut support. Everyone's body has slightly different needs, but you're never going to know unless you try it. And for some people, it can really cause extra and faster breakthroughs, maybe in something that you've been stuck in for a while. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure that you give it a try, okay? Another really cool use of ProBio 5 can actually be taking it out of the capsule and forming a paste with it for things such as maybe warts or like a yeasty skin infection. What you would do is just kind of empty the capsule out. You could either put it in your hand or even just like in a small dish, add just tiny drops of water at a time until you kind of get that consistency that you want. And then you would just spread it on, whatever area is bothering you. So there are quite a number of testimonies out there that are reporting significant success with doing this, especially treating warts. Honestly, I wouldn't even hesitate on trying it on things like cradle cap for little ones, which is definitely a yeast, overgrowth problem. And, if you think about Candida especially, it can be very fungal in nature. So anything along those lines, I would not hesitate to try that. I have a little one who just had a wart on her knee, and we're going to do a trial on that and see what happens, because I had just read about that recently. So yes, so definitely keep in mind, you can use ProBio 5 internally and externally. Next, we've already established that ProBio 5 is absolutely amazing for humans, but have you ever considered using it with your pets, specifically your dogs? Let me preface this by saying I am not a veterinarian, okay? So if you do this with your dogs, I would recommend that you get your vet's clearance, because I'm not giving you medical advice for your pets, but I do want to share with you what other people have tried. It's worked really well. many of which have had their vet's clearance. But there have been numerous testimonies of people having success with using a capsule of ProBio 5. You could break it open, sprinkle it over top of your dog's food, or even just given via capsule to address things like those nasty yeasty ear infections. If you know, you know. Things like itchy coats and paw licking, just anything that's kind of allergy related. You can even use it for dogs who are having digestive upset and issues like diarrhea. I had a close friend whose dog was having horrendous diarrhea. Nothing was working. She was giving it pumpkin and all the typical, steps that a vet would tell you initially. And nothing stopped it in its tracks until she started the ProBio 5. And I'm talking like within a day, her dog's diarrhea was clearing up. So it could be something to try. But I can personally attest to the fact that it has made a difference for my mini Labradoodle who's had a long history of chronic yeast infections in her ears. And so that is something that I would kind of see that picking up. I definitely add that into her routine. All right. So that wasn't enough. Let's go ahead and launch into X Factor Plus. So this is a fantastic multivitamin and mineral supplement. Honestly, I truly believe that everyone should be on this supplement no matter what you are dealing with or what you are wanting to prevent, because if we have nutritional deficiencies, which we all do, there's absolutely no way that we can get what we need from our diet alone. Our body's always going to be functioning at a deficit, So with this particular supplement, the awesome thing is that you know that your body's going to be absorbing it and using it because all of the nutrients are in their most bioavailable and methylated form. That is so important. In the interest of time, I am not going to go into the science of that, but feel free to ask me why if you're curious, or you can do a quick Google search and you'll quickly find out why that's important. But one benefit about X Factor Plus that often gets missed is the fact that it has some very real menopausal benefits. So it has been clinically proven to help decrease hot flashes. So ladies, if you are in that season of life, you definitely are going to want to take a closer look at this supplement for sure. And as I'd mentioned earlier, you can increase your dosage of X Factor Plus as well, maybe even up to doubling it when you know you're coming down with something, when you're fighting something off, something like a viral infection, just to give your immune system that extra boost, okay? Next, let's go ahead and tackle the Ease capsules. I am a major fan of this supplement. Ease, generally speaking, is just an amazing all-natural anti-inflammatory supplement. So it's great for everything inflammation related, whether we're just talking about our joints being achy and stiff, or we're talking about like more of a broad systemic and cellular inflammation, okay? I do want to mention at the beginning, in case you're not really familiar with the supplement, it's not good for anyone who happens to have a shellfish allergy. That's because of the New Zealand green-lipped mussel powder in there. So that would be one contraindication if you land in that boat. If you don't, then definitely pay close attention to this one. So many people who start Ease typically will have a really specific reason, that would draw them to that because of some type of kind of obvious inflammatory disorder. I actually personally choose to take it preventatively, just because everything, like absolutely everything we would ever want to avoid in our health has inflammation at the root, okay? And then besides the fact that Ease just contains incredible overall health benefits, some of which I'll kind of get into now. So for one, Ease is great for kind of quote cleaning the blood in a sense. So what it does is it can actually eat the inflammatory protein that sticks between our muscles and our joints and our cells that really cause inflammation. So it really can address that at a very cellular level. And then also because of the protease enzymes that it contains, it also can have anticoagulant effects, which is so interesting. That means it can decrease your blood clotting risk. It can help with breaking things down like arterial plaque. So if your family has like a heart health history, might definitely be worth taking a look at this. It can also have anti-high blood pressure effects. So it's that is something I didn't know about that before until I started looking at it more closely. It's wise to even take Ease for things like IBS, diverticulitis, and other digestive challenges. You could take it for post-workout recovery, things like ADHD, if you've had a weight loss plateau even, and even parasites. Some of the ingredients in these actually even have anti-cancer properties. So you can see why I've just concluded it in part of my daily routine. The benefits are very wide ranging. And like I said, most things have inflammation at the root or produce extra inflammation in the body. And so having a powerful supplement like Ease is absolutely amazing. Some other uses for ease that you maybe hadn't considered would be you could use it for support for your body for things like allergies and sinus issues, breathing issues such as asthma, and cold issues such as congestion. The enzymes that yeast contains actually aid with breaking down mucus, believe it or not. So it can be very helpful for a variety of chronic respiratory issues, whether you have a disease that kind of causes those types of things, or you're just dealing with something a little bit more immediate, like a cold or something like that. You can also use Ease as a daily omega supplement. Now, obviously, we've got Omega X, which is absolutely incredible. That's a plant-based omega. But because of the New Zealand green-lipped muscle powder in the Ease, it also does contain a natural form of omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids, and some omega-3s like EPA and DHA. So it's a very, very unique combination of fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that you really can't find in most other marine oils. Some studies, I thought this is super interesting, show that the omega-3s in the muscle powder are actually 100 times more powerful than from other sources. So if you need to kind of, shrink your regimen down, and you still want to take some type of omega and also get the anti-inflammatory benefits, Ease could be a really great option for you. This next fact about Ease, I was blown away by. This was something brand new to me as I was researching for this, but Ease can actually be a booster for antibiotics. So let's say you found yourself in the situation where you have to take one, and you want to get the most benefit of helping your body fight against whatever it's fighting against. So interestingly, let's kind of do a little bit of science lesson here. So most bacterial infections are caused by biofilms, and that's like a shield that essentially protects the bacteria from antibodies and our immune system that's trying to attack it. So those biofilms kind of provide the safe place for the bacteria to live. But there's a serapeptase enzyme in the Ease, and that can actually function as a biofilm buster, which I kind of love thinking about that. So it really limits the ability of that biofilm to form. And other studies have shown that when you use something like that together with antibiotics, then serapeptase can be very, very effective, especially against antibiotic-resistant bacteria. So if you're fighting any kind of infection, maybe it's been a chronic one that you're like, gosh, I just can't get a hold of this, or just antibiotics don't seem to be doing its job. Maybe consider adding in the Ease in conjunction with that, because it could be a very powerful tool just to add in your box so that your body can fight that much more effectively. Okay. Next, you might not have ever considered Ease for its digestive benefits. So again, the enzymes in Ease can also very much act like a digestive enzyme when they're taken with food. So it can really help with aiding things like heartburn and reflux. If you're trying to get off medications for that, you might want to consider adding this one in as well. These enzymes can have a very alkalizing effect in the stomach. So that could be another great option for you. And then just like ProBio 5, there have been many, many reports of Ease being very helpful for dogs, again, who have inflammatory challenges, such as maybe hip pain from arthritis or hip dysplasia, things like allergies and kind of chronic skin conditions. So that might be another thing that you'd like to look into. In fact, if you start looking at other dog supplements, I've been seeing more and more of the New Zealand green-lipped muscle powder and turmeric and all those kinds of things in these supplements. And so we have a really great option here with Plexus. All right. Next up is Plexus Body Cream. This is a really unique skin renewing cream. It has spirulina algae in it, as well as activated charcoal instead of things like chemicals and dyes and fragrances. A super fun fact about body cream is that it was originally designed to treat radiation burns for breast cancer patients. Over time, people were quickly realizing the extra benefits that it provides. And so the name was eventually changed from Dr. Spencer's breast cream to Plexus body cream so that more people would use it, including men. But it's a fantastic thing just to keep in your cabinet for when some of these things might come about. So I'll give you some examples. The activated charcoal that it contains can actually draw bacteria and poisons and chemicals and dirt and just other microparticles to the surface of the skin. So it can really help you fight off numerous skin issues. So you could give it a try for things like treating insect bites or poison ivy or poison oak. It can even be great for treating sunburn, scars, stretch marks, and it can also be really soothing for things like psoriasis and eczema. So those are all wonderful uses for the body cream. Um, there also contains anti-aging properties. So some people even really like to use it as their daily facial moisturizer. Or you could even give it a try as an aftershave cream. So if you have a husband who kind of gets like razor burn, or even you kind of get like the strawberry legs or razor burn on your legs, you could certainly give it a try for something like that. Okay. Um, it does contain several essential oils. So some people even use the cream as more of a leave-in conditioner to kind of like calm the hair, so after you wash, you can just put a little bit in. I see Sarah's raised her hand there. So it's a great leave-in conditioner and it can just really leave your hair silky smooth, just kind of tame the flyaways. You do not need much, but that is a great way to use that. It can also be a really great hair mask. So after, you wash, you could put that on. Leave it on for a little while. It can draw toxins out from your hair. It can really nourish your scalp. So that's another really great use of it. And I've even heard that some people use it as a natural deodorant. That is one I've not tried, but considering it has the activated charcoal, I can see why that could potentially be a really great option. So that's another idea. All right. Next up is hydrate. This is such a fantastic staple to keep in the house. I will never purchase another electrolyte drink for my kids because this blows them all out of the water. There are no dyes, no artificial ingredients, no sugar. It contains a much wider variety of electrolytes than the standard electrolyte drinks that are found in the store. So obviously you can use hydrate as you would any standard electrolyte drink. So whether that's after a workout, in hot weather, during and after you have been sick, or just to boost your overall hydration. If you just want a healthy way to flavor your water, those are all fantastic uses of hydrate. But here's some other really fun ways that you maybe didn't consider to use hydrate. You could make yourself or your kids healthy popsicles this summer. So they've got something healthy that they can snack on. It's giving them the added benefits of electrolytes. So it's a great use of that. You can even make a hydrate slushy in the blender. So, use a stick of hydrate, a handful of ice. You could use a little bit of water or maybe another favorite juice or even one of your other favorite Plexus beverages, blend it up, and it is so yummy and refreshing. You can also even spread some grapes out on a cookie sheet and take a stick of hydrate and kind of sprinkle over top of the grapes when they're just slightly damp. Put it in the freezer, freeze them, and once all frozen, just pour them into a bag. But then you've got this really refreshing and healthy snack on a hot day. Your kids can grab them out of the freezer. I love doing that too, just for a little sweet treat. Kind of feels like I'm having candy, actually. It's really, really good if you haven't tried that. So that's a fun one. And then, of course, you can always add a stick of hydrate to any of your Plexus beverages, whether that's your Slim, your Active, your Restore, or even your lean protein shake, just to give yourself an added dose of hydration. It changes up the flavor a little bit, kind of keeps things interesting. And so definitely feel free to mix and match flavors of Plexus beverages. They do such a good job of purposefully making their flavors so they mesh together really well. And it's just really fun to come up with new recipes. It's a great way to get your kids involved this summer and just to kind of get their wheels turning for just some really healthy ways that they can also be supporting their health. And then last but not least for hydrate, you can also take a dose of hydrate if you might be struggling with a headache, or maybe when you kind of have in the background, you sort of feel like it's coming on. Very often it's partly due to an electrolyte imbalance. So I have noticed that if I take a hydrate, a lot of times that helps me stave off a headache. So that is another really great use of that supplement. Okay, we're gonna cover lean protein powder next. Our protein powder is so versatile, you guys. Obviously, you can use it as a healthy snack. That would be 1 scoop. You can also use it as a meal replacement. That would be 2 scoops. So that might be more appropriate if you're on a weight loss journey, you just want a healthy meal replacement. But you can also just use it as a protein supplement for maybe someone who needs a nutritional boost, like picky eaters at home, right? Or if you're someone who is actively trying to build muscle. Um, my kids love making their own smoothies. I love knowing that I've got something healthy in the house that they can just grab at any time. But something that a lot of people don't even think about is that this could be a great protein and nutritional boost for the elderly. So do not even think about giving your elderly parents or grandparents something like Boost. You guys, it is so high in sugar, synthetic ingredients. It actually has ingredients that are terrible for gut health. So instead, give them some lean. And what you can do is just add some nut butter or things like flaxseed or chia seed, avocado, anything that kind of has those healthy fats to really boost not only that healthy fat content, but the calorie content. So if you really need extra calories, that's a very healthy way that you can do that. Definitely recommend that you give it a try. And I can guarantee you it tastes a whole lot better than what they're getting in the Boost. Um, so one of the most common ways that people use lean obviously is in smoothies, and there are just a myriad of recipes. Go to Pinterest. You can find so many fun ways to use your lean protein powder. But did you know that you can also use it even in things like your baking and cooking? Some fun ideas. Try adding it into your oatmeal. Instead of brown sugar, it will give you a natural sweetener. It will add extra protein. So that is one of my favorite ways to use it. You can also add it to unsweetened yogurt, whether that's regular yogurt or Greek yogurt. But again, a natural sweetener, you're boosting the protein content, and it kind of almost makes like a little bit of a mousse consistency. And you can use that for a fruit parfait or add a little bit of unsweetened granola or something like that. Add nuts. It is such a yummy snack or meal. You can add it to things like protein balls, um, cookies. There are cookie recipes out there, pancakes, waffles. Again, you're getting the added sweetness, you're getting added flavor, you're getting added protein so that you're not getting that sugar crash throughout the day. And then one of my favorite things to do, if I just, okay, like we all have a little bit of a hankering sometimes for something sweet, right? So you can actually make a healthy, quote, cookie dough using your lean protein powder. So what you would do is you just add it really gradually. You add a little bit of unsweetened almond or coconut milk to a couple scoops of your protein powder. You can add, I would say, about a tablespoon or so of your favorite nut butter and just like mix it up really, really good. And then you could throw in just a few little chocolate chips if you want a taste of that. And you'll get something that tastes a whole lot like dessert, but is a whole lot healthier for you. So that's just kind of a fun extra tip for you. Um, okay, we are getting there. Nerve. This is an awesome supplement. I don't think it gets talked about nearly enough, honestly. So that's why I wanted to highlight a minute. It's really great for addressing any type of nerve pain or a degenerative nerve issue, as it can really help with nerve healing and regeneration. So think along the lines of those struggling with sciatica, fibromyalgia, Raynaud syndrome, neuropathy. If you're recovering from back or neck surgery, this is an amazing option for you. But what does not get mentioned very often is it has very significant circulatory benefits, okay? So think along the lines of things specifically like varicose veins, other varicosities like hemorrhoids. There are ingredients in nerve that are very good for strengthening and toning blood vessels. So if you find yourself dealing with anything along those lines, it would very well be worth a try. And it can also be very helpful for those struggling with arthritis and joint pain, just due to the specific makeup of ingredients. So if you fall in that category as well, I would highly recommend giving the combination of both ease and nerve together a try to see what that could do for you. Let's talk next about a couple of supplements that are kind of listed in our weight loss line, but they have other significant benefits aside from what they can do for a weight loss journey. So the first would be block. This is one of my favorite secret weapons. I have to say, it's great to keep on hand because it can block or inhibit the absorption of up to 48% of carbs and sugars when you take it before a meal or a snack. But what many people don't know is that it also contains a brown seaweed blend that contains naturally occurring iodine, which can be very, very healthy, or excuse me, good for healthy thyroid function. So if you have thyroid issues, you're suspecting that, and your doctors maybe ever suggested that you should possibly look at iodine, this could be a supplement that could give you kind of a bigger bang for your buck in a couple different areas. MetaBurn is another supplement in our weight loss line. So typically, the metabolism and fat burning benefits are very much highlighted, but many also don't realize that it contains mood boosting ingredients. So it can be very, very helpful for some people who need support in the area of improving symptoms of depression. It is important to note if you are already taking a medication for depression that falls in that category of the SSRI medications, that you would definitely want to run this by your doctor first, okay? It contains 5-HTP, which does naturally affect your serotonin levels in a very positive way. But if you're also taking an SSRI medication, it can be a little bit too much of a good thing. So it's just important that you're on the same page with your physician if you're already taking medication like that and you're wanting to take it for the mood boosting benefits, okay? The thing that I think I wanted to highlight the most about MetaBurn, though, is the fact that it can contribute to healthy adrenal and thyroid function. So kind of similar to the block, but just in a different way. MetaBurn can definitely help your thyroid function better. It has L-tyrosine that actually assists your body in the production of thyroid hormone. So if you are someone struggling in the area of hypothyroidism, especially, this could be very helpful for you. It can also provide really great adrenal support for the body. So if you're someone who deals with chronic stress levels, or maybe you're just someone who overproduces the stress hormone cortisol, this is something that could be very helpful for you because it really can help your body cope with those cortisol levels in a healthier way, as well as even decrease cortisol levels. Your body is going to definitely respond better in stressful situations when you supplement with this. So even if you're maybe in your personal life, you're dealing with something extra stressful, you might even want to consider temporarily adding in the MetaBurn just as a way to give your body a little bit of extra support in that area, okay? Some other really interesting uses for MetaBurn could be to help with symptoms of fibromyalgia. That was a new one to me. Some of the ingredients in there can be very helpful for that. Also to even decrease the frequency of migraines or to even help you sleep better. This is such an interesting supplement because it contains things called adaptogens. So they work a little bit differently in everyone's body, just depending on what your body's needs are. But some of these adaptogens can help even with things like activating the production of brown fat. That is so important. Really burning belly fat or visceral fat. It can help increase your energy levels. It can help boost cognitive functions such as memory and creativity and reaction time and focus and motivation. So I'm thinking maybe someone who has a family member that's experiencing some early onset dementia or just some cognitive challenge, it might be worth a try, honestly. MetaBurn can also help fight inflammation. It can boost testosterone for men. So if there's any men listening here, you might be interested in that one. And it can also function in an antifungal way. This was fascinating to me. Some of the ingredients have like antifungal and antimicrobial properties. So it can even help clean your digestive system of things like worm infestations. Gross, but interesting. So just saying, it's definitely worth taking a look at. One thing I wanted to note, especially about supplements like Block and MetaBurn, is I don't necessarily recommend them just as a standalone supplement. So if you're someone who's just coming into this, maybe someone's sending this to you because you're just interested in Plexus, I think it's super important to note that I consider these to be more accessory supplements. It is so important that you have a strong health foundation, because if you do not have a healthy gut and your blood sugar is not regulated, you're always going to be at some type of deficit. So think of these as more accessory supplements to kind of fill in the extra gaps if you feel like your body is needing extra support in some of these areas that I've mentioned. Okay. So I just thought that was important to mention here. All right. Last but not least, I wanted to briefly mention the Edge. Again, it doesn't get talked about quite as often, but maybe you're someone who's just not into energy drinks. I mean, the Active is absolutely amazing. I think it's delicious, but not everyone loves having something extra to drink during the day. But if you still need an extra boost of energy, the Edge is fantastic. It comes in capsule form. It's definitely best known for providing just more of that sustained and balanced energy, not jittery energy whatsoever. It can also help with providing clarity of thinking and focus and enhanced concentration and sharpened thinking. It even does have some extra mood boosting benefits. If you're curious, it does contain a little bit of caffeine, about the equivalent to a cup of coffee. So you'd want to be mindful of that if you're going to give this one a try. But if you put that along with a combination like the Triplex and Mega X, this could be an extremely helpful complement to someone struggling with attention deficits. It is designated as an adult supplement, but there are definitely testimonies out there of those who are having success giving this to their children and their teens. Again, you want to get your doctor's approval if you decide to try it with your child, but it definitely is an idea that you could consider if you're looking for kind of a light stimulant support. Okay. Whew, all right. I've been talking a lot. So that is all for now. There are, I'm sure, plenty more ideas that you have seen in the comments. I can't wait to see what else you might share. I really hope this helps give you some fresh inspiration just for maybe yourself or someone that you care about. And please feel free to forward this video to anyone that you think would find this information helpful. And yeah, just again, I'd love to give you the opportunity to share your favorite ideas and uses of your supplements. So if I missed anything, please do not hesitate to put them in the comments. I welcome that. And I'll look forward to getting this recording up for you really soon. So thank you everyone for joining me, and I hope you have a great evening.